In this video, you'll see my full journey to Mythical Immortal. I played 5 games back-to-back, so make sure you watch all the way until the end to see how I climbed from 97 stars all the way to Immortal. And hey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment telling me what rank you've reached so far. I want to know if you're struggling in Epic, grinding in Legend, or already flexing in Mythical Glory. Let's compare the grind. So let's start with the first game. I went with Baxia as my jungler, and let me tell you, this hero is one of the most underrated power picks in solo rank. Baxia can dive into the middle of the fight, eat tons of damage, and still survive while his teammates clean up. That's exactly why he usually gets banned in high ranks. He's a nightmare for assassins and squishy heroes. On top of that, his mobility is insane. With his first skill, he can roll into the enemy jungle, steal their buffs, ruin their farming, and then just roll out like nothing happened. That's what makes him so good in the jungle role. So, if you're a jungler and you see that Baxia is available, trust me, pick him. He can carry games in ways you don't even expect. His damage reduction, his healing cut, and his ability to tank damage while also dealing damage makes him one of those heroes that can flip teamfights in seconds. But here's the thing, guys, this is solo rank, and solo rank is never easy. Sometimes, no matter how much you dominate early or how well you play, the dark system finds a way to mess with you. And in this game, that's exactly what happened. I tried my best, invaded jungle, rotated lanes, and even set up good fights, but my teammates just couldn't keep up. The enemy got the upper hand, and we ended up losing the first game. And that's solo queue life. Sometimes you feel like a one-man army carrying the whole map, but if your teammates don't follow through, there's only so much you can do. But losing the first game didn't stop me. This was just the beginning of the journey, and if you think I'm gonna give up after one loss, nah, that's not happening. So keep watching, because the next matches are where things get really spicy, and I promise you it's worth sticking to the end. We're just getting started.
In the second game, I locked in Baxia again, because let's be real, when you've got a hero that shuts down assassins, pushes objectives, and can literally roll across the map like Sonic with armor, why would you pick anything else? Baxia is one of those heroes people forget about, but when you play him right, he makes meta picks look like they're having a bad day. Take Hayabusa, for example. Everybody loves spamming Haya because he can dash around and disappear, but against Baxia, it's like watching a mosquito try to fight a brick wall. Even Argus with his ultimate, thinking he's immortal, runs into Baxia and suddenly realizes that immortality doesn't help when you're stunned and your team already melted. That's why I love this pick. It gives you answers to so many strong heroes in solo rank. Now, here's the thing about playing Baxia. You can't just stay in one lane farming minions like you're on vacation. You have to rotate, roll around the map, and invade whenever you can. His first skill is basically free map hacks if you use it right. You're not just rolling for fun, you're giving vision, denying farm, and making the enemy jungler wonder why they even queued up. And if you've ever had the dark system on your team, you know, you've got to create advantages yourself, because waiting for your teammates to do it, that's how you end up losing. Speaking of teammates, let me say this. I was actually shocked in this game. Normally, you dive in as Baxia and your teammates are still farming crab like it's the World Championship. But this time, they actually followed me. The positioning was clean, the timing was right, and when I went in, they backed me up. It felt like I was playing in a 5-man squad, except I wasn't. That's how rare it is in solo rank, so when it happens, you've got to take full advantage. But don't get it twisted, I was still glued to that minimap. If you're serious about ranking up, the minimap is your best friend. I know some players treat it like decoration, but no, you check it every few seconds, predict enemy rotations, and stop split pushes before they happen. In this match, the enemy tried to sneak some plays with Sun and side pressure, but they couldn't get away with it. Why? Because I knew exactly where they were going before they even did it. And here's something I really noticed in this match. When you play a tank like Baxia, you're not just a frontline meat shield, you're basically the shot caller. You're the one who decides when to dive, when to retreat, and when to force objectives. And that's a lot of pressure in solo rank, because you're trying to lead 4 strangers who probably don't even trust your hero pick. But if you stay confident and make clear plays, most of the time they'll follow your lead without even realizing it. That's the hidden power of playing tank. You control the tempo of the game. Another funny thing is how the enemy reacted. The more I rolled around the map and denied their farm, the more frustrated they got. You could literally feel it in the way they started diving recklessly and making bad decisions. And hey, this is only the second game. Don't go anywhere, there are more games coming, and trust me, things are going to get even crazier. So stick around, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and drop a comment letting me know your favorite hero for solo rank. Now let's move on, because this journey is just getting started. In the third game, I picked Khaled as a roamer. Now, Khaled is one of those heroes that doesn't get enough love, but honestly, he's such a solid pick. You can build him tanky, still deal a good amount of damage, and on top of that, he heals himself with his second skill. His ultimate is also clutch. You can use it to lock down enemies or even escape when things get too hot. So if you're a roamer player and haven't tried Khaled yet, I really recommend it. He's reliable, flexible, and in solo rank, that's exactly what you need. Because let's be real, in solo rank, you're not always relying on professional teammates. And by professional, I mean professional at giving the enemy free gold and free kills. In this match, we actually started strong. We had the early lead, and I was doing my best to keep the momentum going for the team. Everything looked good, until my teammates, who by the way were a trio, decided to get a little too overconfident, and you already know how that goes. They forced a fight they shouldn't have, made one big mistake, and boom, the whole game flipped. That's the harsh truth of high ranks. Even if you're winning, you're never really safe. One mistake, and suddenly the enemy is back in the game, ready to pull off that epic comeback. And yeah, that's exactly what happened here. We ended up losing. But that's the lesson. Never get too comfortable. In the fourth game, something funny happened. The public teammates wanted to swap the jungle role. And as a solo rank player, you always have to be ready for everything. One game you're the jungler, the next you're the roamer, and sometimes, well, you end up mid lane. So I swapped roles, and this time I picked Novaria. Now, Novaria is actually super helpful, especially in solo rank. She can shoot from a distance, give vision to her teammates, and she's basically the best bush inspector in the game. If there's an enemy hiding somewhere, Novaria will find them. In the early game, her damage isn't crazy, but if you stay patient and play smart, once the late game comes, she really starts to shine. And trust me, the vision alone is worth picking her. If you've never tried Novaria and you're a mid laner, I seriously recommend giving her a shot. Just remember, positioning is everything. She's not the type of hero you can run straight into a fight with. Instead, poke from a safe distance, annoy the enemies until they come too close, and then, boom, they get punished. And don't forget her second skill. It's actually one of the best escapes. You can float over walls like some kind of magic ninja and get out of the most dangerous situations. Another thing about Novaria is that she makes the enemy paranoid. Every time you use her vision, they start second-guessing their rotations. The enemy jungler wants to sneak lord? Nope, Novaria sees it. The roamer tries to hide in the bush for a setup? Sorry buddy, exposed again. This kind of pressure makes enemies play slower and gives your team more confidence to move around the map. And here's the funny part. Even though I wasn't dealing crazy burst damage early on, my presence alone was tilting the enemy. They kept wasting skills on me from far away just to try and shut me down. And meanwhile, my teammates were farming, pushing, and taking objectives for free. That's the beauty of vision. It's not always about flashy kills. Sometimes it's about control and information. If you position well, the enemies don't stand a chance. So in this match, the key was patience, vision, and poking the enemy down until we could secure the final objectives. And don't go anywhere just yet, because we're not done. There's still one more game coming up on this road to Mythical Immortal, and trust me, it's the most intense one yet. So stick around, smash that like button if you haven't already, subscribe if you're enjoying the grind, and drop a comment. Do you like playing mid, or do you avoid it at all costs? Alright, this is it, the final game of the journey, and the one that decides everything. For this last step to Mythical Immortal, I picked Baxia as my roamer. Now, Baxia might not always be the flashiest pick, but if you understand his value, you know exactly why he's a top-tier choice in solo rank. He gives you speed, map control, and the ability to dive in and disrupt everything. Basically, he's that one annoying teammate the enemy just can't ignore. From the very start, I knew this match was going to be a fight. The enemy team came in strong with solid picks, and I could feel that if I made even one bad rotation, they would take full advantage. So I made it my mission to always stay on the move, always rotating, always keeping my presence felt. When you play Baxia right, the enemy doesn't get a break. They can't farm comfortably, they can't push freely, and they definitely can't try sneaky plays without you showing up to ruin their day. One thing I love about Baxia is that he forces the enemy carries to hesitate. Marksmen and mages don't want to commit when they see that spinning shield of doom rolling straight into their backline. And the best part? Even if they try to focus you, Baxia is tanky enough to soak up the hits and escape with ease. That's why in high ranks, he's so effective. You're not just a roamer, you're basically a one-man distraction, buying your team all the time they need to shine. This particular game, though, wasn't easy at all. The enemy was smart. They were grouping, forcing fights, and trying to end it early. My teammates, as usual in solo rank, were a bit unpredictable. Some were ready to dive with me, while others looked like they were auditioning for a solo comedy show. But hey, that's solo queue life, right? You never really know what you're gonna get. And that's why I picked Baxia, because even with shaky teammates, he can hold the line and keep the game alive. I had to be patient, constantly reading the map, checking where the danger was, and predicting the enemy's movements. When their jungler tried to sneak objectives, I was there to interrupt. When their gold laner thought they could split push for free, I rolled across the map and shut it down. Little by little, those plays kept us in the game, even when it felt like momentum could slip away. The real turning point came in the mid to late game teamfights. The enemy thought they could burst down my teammates, but every time they tried, I dove straight into their backline, forcing them to focus me instead. That gave our damage dealers just enough breathing room to land their skills. And trust me, that's the beauty of playing a roamer like Baxia. You might not get the kills, but you create the chaos that lets your team win the fight. Now, let's be honest, as a solo rank player, I had one very clear thought during this match. I cannot lose my promotion game. There's nothing worse than being one win away from Mythical Immortal and watching it slip through your fingers. So I was locked in, playing like my life depended on it. Every dive had to be calculated, every ultimate had to matter, and every rotation had to bring value. And here's the funny part. Sometimes when you're so focused, you start imagining the game devs are watching you. Like, if I mess this up, they'll nerf Baxia tomorrow just to punish me. But luckily, I didn't mess it up. We played smart, we played disciplined, and after what felt like a marathon of a match, we finally broke through. And when that final push happened, it was pure relief. We wiped the enemy, marched straight into their base, and ended it once and for all. Mythical Immortal at last. Honestly, it wasn't just a win. It felt like surviving an entire season of drama in one game. From unpredictable teammates to clutch defenses, it had everything. So, if you ever find yourself one win away from your big promotion, remember this: stay calm, stick to your role, and play smart. You don't need to be flashy, you just need to be consistent. Baxia gave me the tools, but it was patience, map awareness, and timing that sealed the deal. And with that, the journey was complete. Mythical Immortal secured. So make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below about your rank and your own craziest solo rank stories.